We have the details.
And a few new developments in the Menendez brothers case. Find out what has been brought to the light for the decade-old case.
The presidential election is right around the corner. How the candidates are looking to sway voters.
And one Halloween mascot is in the spotlight. Stay tuned for the story.
And we're tracking the first frost of the season here in Muncie. NewsLink Indiana starts right now.
Local news about local people, live from Ball State Unified Media. You're watching NewsLink Indiana.
Good evening, and thank you for joining us. I'm Braylon Judy.
And I'm Ava Lenz. All campuses affiliated with the Santa Monica College in Santa Monica, California were closed today.
This comes after someone shot and wounded a college employee.
The shooting happened yesterday at a satellite campus. Police say the victim was targeted. Investigators called the incident an act of workplace violence that was not a random act. Police are still looking for the shooter. The school released a statement and said the decision to close today was to prioritize safety.
New developments in the Menendez brothers murder case in Los Angeles. The city's district attorney has released a new evidence that could lead to the resentencing of Lyle and Eric Menendez.
The brothers are currently serving a life sentence for murdering their parents in 1989.
On Sunday, District Attorney George Gascon released a screenshot of a letter Eric Menendez supposedly wrote to his cousin decades ago that alludes to the sexual abuse Menendez's father allegedly carried out. The Menendez brothers never denied killing their parents, but they claimed they acted in self-defense because their father sexually abused them. Lawyers for the brothers have petitioned the court. They argue the jury might have reached a different verdict if it had this evidence. Relatives of the brothers plan to hold a news conference in Los Angeles tomorrow with the Menendez defense lawyer, Mark Garagos.
With 3 weeks until Election Day, a judge ruled county election officials in Georgia cannot delay or decline to certify election results. The state's judge ruling deals a blow to an effort by conservatives in the crucial battleground date to broaden their powers. The case was brought by a Republican member of the Fulton County Board of Registration and Elections. She asked the judge to declare that her duties in certifying election results are discretionary. The case is one or two closely watched disputes over election certification in Georgia.
Our reaction is that we've always believed that everyone should follow the law and follow the Constitution. That's an American value. And so I think that's very important that that is affirmed, in the judicial system.
Georgia's early in-person voting kicked off today, and by early afternoon, the number of votes cast on the first day had already shattered state records. New state laws passed after the last presidential election tightened rules for absentee ballots and cracked down the number of available drop boxes. Election experts say that's likely to drive more people to vote in person.
With the election timeline in mind, it's crunch time for the presidential campaigns, who are looking for new ways to sway voters. The two presidential candidates sparring over fitness for the office with just a little time to move the needle. Karen Kaifa has the latest from Washington.
Vice President Kamala Harris sharpening her attacks on former President Donald Trump's capacity for another term in the White House.
Donald Trump is increasingly unstable and unhinged.
As Democrats grow more fretful about the state of the race, which most national polls see as deadlocked, Harris, in the battleground state of Pennsylvania Monday night, stepped up the urgency in her message, warning of the extremism of a second Trump term.
He's talking about that he considers anyone who doesn't support him or who will not bend to his will an enemy of our country.
Trump was also in Pennsylvania for a town hall Monday night where he stayed on stage and swayed to music after rapping questions.
Play YMCA. Go ahead. Let's go. Nice and loud.
During the event, Trump took his own aim at Harris's capacity for the job.
Well, we have to beat her. Look, we
do.
have to beat her. She's not for this job. Everybody knows it.
Harris has also chided Trump in recent days for not releasing medical records after releasing a letter from her physician Saturday, tying it to a lack of transparency on Trump's part.
Are they afraid that people will see that he is too weak and unstable?
Trump has responded multiple times on his social media platform Truth Social, including calling on Monday for Harris to take a cognitive test and falsely claiming he's released more medical records than any president in history. Trump last released a letter from his doctor in November 2023, but it did not include the types of medical tests Trump took or the results. In Washington, I'm Karen Kafa.
Just a reminder, early voting has started in Indiana. The election is on November 5th. Speaking of November, we're just going straight into that fall weather, aren't we?
I know. We had super cold weather here today, and hopefully Joe has more about that.
That's right. It was a chilly day across much of Indiana, and we're only getting cooler. 42 in Muncie, 42 in Lafayette, 43 in Indianapolis, so already dipping into those low 40s. And compared to where we were yesterday, that is a big decrease. We're 7 degrees cooler here in Muncie, 12 degrees cooler up in Fort Wayne, and 9-degree decrease in Indianapolis. So certainly chillier temperatures than we were seeing at this time yesterday, but we are tracking first frost tonight, continued clear skies, and warming up for the weekend, all in my full forecast.
With the weather feeling more like fall and Halloween just over 2 weeks away, the iconic seasonal mascots, jack-o'-lantern, skulls, and ghost, are making their annual return. But bats are one Halloween staple that some may not truly know about.
With over 1,400 varied species of bats around the world, there is so much to unpack yesterday. Yesterday, children and adults got the chance to see these amazing creatures up close and learn a few things that aren't taught in most school books. NewsLink Indiana, Demar Robinson has more.
Known for their presence in dark caves and hanging upside down, bats are often misunderstood creatures, with many misconceptions surrounding them. Last night, Ball State University biologist Dr. Tim Carter took a group of young learners under his wing at the Muncie Kennedy Library. He shared fascinating facts, from the bat's role in controlling insect population to their unique adaptations that allow them to thrive in different habitats. Carter enjoys informing all ages on the facts that involve bats.
Yeah, I absolutely love when I get to talk to the public. I do a lot of programs for kids and adults, and as you kind of implied, Halloween 'tis the season. It really is just fantastic to meet people. I really enjoy how it's changed since I got started. When I first got started doing bat programs, it was dispelling a lot of myths. I had people ask me questions about all of those things. And now I don't get that very often. Now I get, we love bats, what can we do to help them? And so I have watched a shift in the attitude towards bats over the last 10 to 20 years, which has been really fantastic.
Students got the chance to see these nocturnal creatures up close and learn just how important bats are, not only to nature, but also to science. And with events like these, young minds are being inspired to rethink their ideas about bats and even consider a future in biology. In Muncie, Demar Robinson, NewsLink, Indiana.
A few interesting facts for you at home. Out of the 50 U.S. states, Indiana is the only state with its own bat, titled the Indiana bat. And bats are the only mammals that can truly fly.
A surge in online drug sales, why officials warn of these shady sites.
And how hurricanes are affecting medical availability. Find out how the manufacturers are affected.
Dear moms and dads, what you have achieved here today is going to help us and our futures. It is why we are coming up on stage to collect your diplomas.
You know it's true.
Mom, love you always.
Everything I do.
When you graduate, they graduate. Visit finishyourdiploma.org to find free and supportive adult education centers near you.
Last week, Brandon met a girl on a dating app. One day after work, he finally found the courage to ask her out. No answer. He started to panic. Was he being too pushy? Maybe it was too...
Hey, sorry I didn't respond. I was driving. I would love to go on a date. How does tonight sound?
Brandon tried to play it cool, but inside he knew. A girl so smart, so responsible. She must be a keeper.
Eva Marie smoked 12,000 packs of cigarettes over 15 years. She quit, and now there's a new lung cancer screening that could save her life. You stopped smoking. Now start screening. No matter how much you smoked, early detection could save you. Talk to your doctor or learn more at savedbythescan.org.
Man, it's lonely. Like, going through life lonely.
There is the therapeutic aspect of music, just expressing how you feel. I'm going to talk to Howie about his feelings, make it into a song.
Welcome back. U.S. officials are warning the nation about the rise of illegal online pharmacies. The Drug Enforcement Agency issued a public safety report about outlets selling fake or counterfeit medications. According to the DEA, the drugs sold are often not from reputable pharmaceutical giants, but rather come from drug traffickers. Taking these products could be harmful or possibly fatal. The Justice Department recently announced criminal charges against 18 defendants who are accused of operating fake online pharmacies.
New research has uncovered some little-known and never-before-seen viruses that live on things you probably use every day. Microbiologist Erica Hartman led a study which found something called bacteriophage all over household environment. While that may sound bad, she says these are not viruses that make you sick. Instead, they infect bacteria, and these could potentially be used to save lives. The hope is that these phages will aid in the development of better drugs or improvement biotechnologies.
It's unsurprising that we find them there because we find a bunch of bacteria basically everywhere. But what was surprising is how many different viruses we found and how different they looked from anything that we had ever seen before.
Hartman says it's important to continue researching what she calls this next frontier and develop new tools and methods to determine how these microbes work.
Some meal kits are being recalled due to possible listeria contamination. The meal kits produced by Restor's Fine Foods were sold under the brand names Bistro 28 and Don Pancho. They could contain chicken that has been recalled due to listeria risk. The meal kits were sold in 30 states. The U.S. Food and Drug Administration said you should not consume any part of the kit. You should return the item to the store for a full refund or throw it out. More information can be found at fda.gov.
The Food and Drug Administration is working to address the shortage of 3 drugs after a major manufacturer was significantly affected by Hurricane Helene. The impacted facility is Baxter International's North Cove site, located just east of hard-hit Asheville, North Carolina. It's one of the largest manufacturers of intravenous fluids and dialysis solutions in the United States. Earlier this week, the FDA said Baxter International was limiting supply of IVF fluids. Now the agency announced that dextrose 70% IV solution, lactated ringers IV solution, and peritoneal dialysis solution are not commercially available in adequate supply to meet national demand. The shortage has led some hospitals across the U.S. to ration their supplies and even postpone some surgeries.
A freeze warning will be in effect tonight. Find out for how long after the break.
As a dad, every day is a challenge. To make sure that the time that I have, I spend with them. It doesn't matter how tired you are, you have to try and to teach them. When they learn something new and you can just see in their faces, it's such an incredible moment. It's those moments that are my favorite.
When it comes to making plans, you are the best. What about those barbecues you plan in detail for your family? Or your daughter's first costume party? It was out of this world. The same way you plan each detail for those moments, start planning to protect you and your loved ones from a natural disaster. Sign up for local weather and emergency alerts. Prepare an emergency kit and make a family communications plan. Protecting your family is the best plan you can make.
When tornadoes touched down in parts of our viewing area, NewsLink Indiana kept you informed days in advance.
You do need to be seeking shelter.
Marginal risk of severe weather.
And days after.
The roof has been ripped completely
off of this house.
Giving you a first-hand look at the communities affected.
When your neighbors lose their house and you don't, how lucky you are.
The first to alert you of severe weather before it happens. NewsLink Indiana Weather.
Can't believe you're doing this alone. I've done it before. I remember you threw your back out. How you holding up? Hand me that board. Nothing wrong with getting help. I'm good. I did it when Felicia left. I'll figure it out. I know you will, but you don't have to do it alone. That's all I'm saying. If I promise to look into it, will you drop it and help me build this fence? Now you need my help. It can be a real pain sometimes, you know that? Mm-hmm.
If you or a veteran you know needs support, don't wait. Reach out. Find resources at va.gov/reach.
Welcome back. It is currently 42 degrees in Muncie, 42 in Lafayette, 43 in Indianapolis, and 46 down in Terre Haute. Definitely cooler temperatures than we were seeing yesterday, and we're going to continue this cool down into the night. As you can see, it is 41 degrees at 10 p.m. We're going to cool down all the way to 36 degrees by the early morning hours. So definitely a big cool down, and that is going to cause a freeze warning to be in effect for eastern Indiana, Ohio, and much of the Great Plains out west, and a frost advisory in southern Indiana. As you can see, zooming in here to our viewing area, all of it is going to be under that freeze warning with temperatures in the low 30s tonight, and again, some freezing coming with that, and it's also going to bring some frost. As you can see here, frost will be likely tonight and tomorrow night with these low temperatures. Those frost chances will taper off as we warm up later in the week, but again, for these next couple of nights, be aware of that frost, as if you have any plants outside or other sensitive outdoor objects, you want to bring those inside in the warmth out of that cold so they do not get harmed. Speaking of tonight, 33 degrees with partly cloudy skies. Winds will be blowing north-northwest at 5 to 10 miles per hour. We're super close to that freezing temperature of 32 degrees. We're just 1 degree warmer than that, but still very cold compared to what we have been seeing. And we're going to see those cool temperatures tomorrow morning as well. 36 degrees at 8 a.m. And we are going to warm up throughout the day, 49 by noon, and 54 by 5 p.m. But again, cooler temperatures than what we have been seeing. Those clouds are going to taper off throughout the day. We'll start with partly cloudy skies and end with mostly sunny throughout the day. Winds will be blowing north-northwest at 5 to 10 miles per hour throughout the day. So the main story will be those cooler temperatures. Another thing we're looking at is continued dryness. We got a little bit of rain, freezing rain today even, but that is going to leave our viewing area at 11 p.m. tonight, mostly clear skies. We'll be left with a little bit of cloud cover for the next couple days, but then before you know it, we'll be dealing with those clear conditions again as we head into the early morning hours on Friday. And we're going to be seeing, because of those clear conditions, warmer temperatures across much of the country, as you can see, above average throughout much of the United States, except for that little pocket in the Pacific Northwest. And we are right in the heart of it here in Indiana, in that darker shade of red, certainly for above average temperatures. So it might be cold now, but we are going to warm up as we go further in the week, and we can see that in the 7-day forecast. 55 degrees on Wednesday, 63 on Thursday, 68 on Friday. And as we get into the weekend, we are back into those 70s, 72 on Saturday, 74 on Sunday. But take a look at those lows, 33 degrees, 37 degrees. We're still going to see some pretty cool temperatures at night, even though those temperatures in the day are going to be warm. Sunny conditions will be the theme throughout much of the week, with some light cloud cover as we head into next week. So guys, walking in that freezing rain earlier was just not fun.
Yeah, it was, it was so chilly. Like, I was getting hit in the face with everything, hit in the face with hail. I turned to my buddy, and he looks up and just right in the face.
It was terrible. I didn't even realize that it was freezing rain until I looked down and I was like, oh no, look at that. Yeah. So yeah,
I had an umbrella, so it was nice to have, but...
Yeah, it came in clutch today, and it was really nice, so...
I gotta say, I had a hoodie without a hood, so I was kind of just, bathing in it a little bit. Again, a little chilly. I tell you, not fun at all.
Mm-hmm.
There's lots more to get to on NewsLink Indiana. Jake Garcia has a preview of sports.
Thanks, Ava and Braylon. We have some movement in the pros, and a local program preps for postseason play. All this and more next in sports.
It's something about having that piece of paper. Some people think that's worth more than my skills.
I've run this place for 20 years, but I still need to prove that I'm more than what you see on paper.
You just gotta be so good they can't ignore you.
It's the way my mind works. I have a very mechanical brain.
Analytics and empathy. That's how I've gained clients.
I am more.
I'm more
than who I am on paper.
When I was growing up, my mom was extremely tidy. We were trained to put things back where we got them from. One day, when I walked into my mom's house, I felt like I walked to someone else's house. There was stuff everywhere. And just growing up the way I grew up and to see this transition was very alarming.
When Sean talked to me, it was a wake-up call, and that's when I went to the doctor.
¿Qué color? Perfecto, mijo.
Gracias. Thank you.
What's wrong, mijo?
Donating to a pet's medical care is one of the many ways you can help families in your community. Pets and people belong together. Learn more at petsandpeopletogether.org.
At night, NewsLink Indiana brings you the news before you go to bed. But Friday mornings, you're waking up with Cardinal Weather, bringing you up to speed on the day's top stories.
And giving you up-to-the-minute conditions from the Ball State Weather Center.
And of course, lots of fun.
I gave mine personality. Look, it's got eyebrows.
Ooh.
My lucky glove didn't even work.
But I also am excited for those fall temperatures.
Start your Friday mornings with Cardinal Weather, live on the Cardinal Weather Facebook page.
Welcome back to NewsLink Indiana. I'm Jake Garcia with sports. The NFL world has been shaken up today with two big trades in the AFC. Raiders wide receiver Davante Adams is reuniting with a familiar face in his old Packers quarterback Aaron Rodgers. This time, though, it's in New York after the Raiders traded the three-time AP first-team All-Pro to the Jets for a conditional third-round pick that could eventually turn into a second-round pick if certain criteria is met. The Jets aren't the only team to receive new talent today, though. The Cleveland Browns are sending five-time Pro Bowl wide receiver Amari Cooper to the Buffalo Bills for a third-round pick in the 2025 draft and a seventh-rounder for the 2026 draft. The Browns are also sending Buffalo a sixth-round pick for the 2025 draft in this blockbuster package that makes the Bills' offense one of the most formidable in the league. To keep things on the gridiron, IHSAA football is in the midst of the last week of the regular season, with playoff football on the horizon. NewsLink Indiana's Jace Miller took a look at Delta High School's play sheet and their hopes of going the distance.
The crisp fall air is once again flowing through another high school football season as the regular season is entering into its final act. For one squad, Delta High School is looking beyond the curtain call to perform their final scene of the year. The Eagles season began with a stellar opening act, starting out 3-0, but going into the last week, they sit at 4-4. As they look to finish over 500 on the season, head coach Chris Overholt believes that his family has demonstrated that spark to keep on pushing.
We've gone through some adversity, but they've kept us on track. We've shown glimpses of just being an outstanding team, and we're just hoping, those glimpses continue as we go into the postseason.
The vision is there, and it is one they have seen before. Last year, Delta was in a similar situation where they finished the year 5-4 after starting out hot to begin the year. What made last season unique? The Eagles were able to dance their way to a regional championship where they inevitably lost to Bishop Chatard. Having the taste of postseason glory, they know what needs to be done in the encore to get back to the regional championship or even beyond.
It's finding that late season run. I always tell our kids, when you get into the tournament, you can tell the teams that want to be done. So we'll play as long as they want to play. I think that we've already set a great tone for practice this week. Yesterday was very good. We've had great energy this morning. And so I think our seniors want to keep playing a lot more football, and that's a good thing for us.
The Eagles' regular season finale is this Friday as they travel to New Palestine to take on the Dragons. Next Friday, they are in a sectional bout with the Patriots of Heritage on their turf. In Muncie, Jace Miller, NewsLink Indiana.
To dive into the pool this past weekend, Ball State men's and women's swim and dive welcome in UIC as the team kicked off their 2024-25 season. The women were able to edge out a win with a final score of 176.5 to 123.5. The men, however, took a close loss with a final of 143.5 to 156.5. Coach Agnew expresses his pleasures with what he saw in the women's win.
I was really impressed the way our women stepped up. We were actually a little short-handed for our first meet. I think we had 18 swimmers and our 3 divers active on the scoring roster. So watching them just kind of step up a level was phenomenal. Our freshmen made some really big contributions, and it was just a big win for those ladies.
The Cardinals now focus on their next matchup at Miami of Ohio University at 3 p.m. this Friday. And guys, it's definitely that time of year where in the pros, there's a lot of player movement. And these are two big names that we saw get moved today. So it's going to be interesting to see how the league shifts when trade deadline gets closer.
Definitely. I couldn't imagine just moving across the states and just performing teamwork with a whole different team. You got to rebuild that trust and everything like that. What do you think, Ava?
Yeah, I know. When you go from team to team, it's hard to, build up that teamwork again from what you had in your previous team. So we'll have to see how that plays out then, the season.
I'm sure they're going to do great things, though. I mean, they had great teamwork in the past teams that they were a part of. And, I mean, I'm only hoping from here. They're going to do great.
Absolutely.
Thank you, Jake, for sports.
Coming up, 2 fuzzy additions to the U.S. Find out what animal is making its return.
And one final look at weather after the break.
Attacks against Asian Americans and Pacific Islanders are on the rise.
My simple solution to the problem was remove people from the scene and help them feel safer. In terms of the hate crimes, I think there is so much more work to be done. We really need to come together and tackle this issue as a community.
I'm an ex-drug dealer, and I'll be your sub today. Two milligrams of fentanyl can be lethal. A lethal dose is in here. Who gets it, I won't know.
It's cheap, it's potent, and it's profitable.
The sad reality is, fentanyl is being mixed into everything now.
More kids should know.
There are 16 million children struggling with hunger in America. That's 1 in 5 daughters, sons, neighbors, and classmates who don't know where their next meal is coming from. Yet billions of pounds of good food go to waste every year. It's time we do something about it. Feeding America is a nationwide network of food banks that helps provide meals to millions of kids and families in need. Visit feedingamerica.org to help them feed even more. Together, we can solve hunger. Together, we're feeding America.
Here you go.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Welcome back. They're adorable, playful, and highly effective diplomats. 2 giant pandas have arrived in our nation's capital, marking the much-awaited return of the beloved bears from China to Washington's National Zoo. They arrived yesterday in these huge crates at Washington Dulles Airport. They are on loan to the Smithsonian National Zoo for 10 years. The facility was closed to visitors yesterday, so the 3-year-old pandas could settle into their new home. Bao Li is a male whose name means precious vigor. His female companion's name is Qing Bao, meaning green treasure. The National Zoo has the panda exhibit freshly remodeled and ready for its new guest. I mean, just adorable pandas. Who doesn't love that?
I know. They're so cute and they're so fluffy. They're adorable.
It's glad to have them here in the U.S.
Yeah, it's going to be some great weather to look at pandas this weekend at the zoo. 55 degrees on Wednesday, 68 on Friday. Back into the 70s by the weekend, 72 on Saturday and 74 on Sunday with sunny conditions for much of the weekend. Those lows are going to still remain a little chilly, but again, warmer temperatures throughout the daytime, so some great weather to go have fun activities this weekend.
That's all tonight for NewsLink Indiana. Be sure to tune in tomorrow night at 9, streaming live on the NewsLink Indiana Facebook page.
And for news anytime, anywhere, just go to ballstatedaily.com. Have a great night and stay safe.